Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. The theme of this episode is relationship problems. Woo! With updates. Okay, let's get into it. The title of the first story is, am I the asshole if I report the couples therapist that married my ex-boyfriend a year after our sessions with her? In 2017, I, female 25, saw a couples therapist with my then boyfriend, male 36. After 3 sessions with her, I refused to return due to her blatant flirtatious behavior and extremely judgmental attitude towards me, which my ex-boyfriend called me delusional for pointing out. She had told me that I seemed too immature, not ready for therapy or a serious relationship. The whole thing was focused on my ex-boyfriend and his complaints about me. She never asked about my feelings or perspective in the relationship. We broke up about 2 months after the sessions, but I stayed living with my ex-boyfriend until November. Once after I moved out, I had to return to our old apartment to get mail. This was in December, and that was the first time I saw the therapist with my ex. They happened to be getting ready to go out on his motorcycle and were both wearing full face motorcycle helmets. But I knew from her body type and hair that it was her, along with my instincts, which suspected something was going on the whole time. But nevertheless, I moved on with my life. I just found out yesterday my ex got married due to a friend telling me about a photo he posted on Facebook. The photo was of him and my ex-therapist celebrating their 1-year wedding anniversary. I found her Facebook with the name change, and sure enough, they got married September of 2018 or earlier. That's just when she posted the wedding photos. This was less than a year after the breakup with my ex, and barely over a year after our sessions with her ended. I'm considering filing a complaint with the American Counseling Association. My friends and mental health counselors I know say I have enough evidence. I'm not upset that my ex moved on. So have I. I thank the universe every day that I'm no longer with that narcissist. However, I feel deeply disturbed to find out he married our therapist, especially remembering all the harmful stuff she said to me in the sessions, which, to be honest, really messed with my head. I fear coming off as a bitter ex. Am I the asshole?
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
No, what the mother effer? Go, I would report this girl immediately. It's not being bitter, it's helping people, because if she's still a therapist and this is the way that she's acting with her patients, I'm scared. That can really fuck you up. And also to say that you're not ready for therapy, like, I'm sorry. What the fuck does that even mean? Since when do you have to be ready for therapy? I think the whole point of therapy is, like, what? I just don't even know I don't even know how to explain it, but you can go to therapy at any time. You don't need to wait for the perfect time to be, like, ready for therapy. You just go to therapy, and then hopefully, like, you can become more open to it the more that you start going. But it's weird. That's weird. And it has to be illegal, no? Like, you can't just marry I don't know. I guess if they're just your patients, but I feel like it's so different for, like, say, a doctor that maybe, like, is in the ER and this one person comes in and that's, like, their patient for a day, and then they're, like, sent home, and then maybe a year later they, like, meet, and then it's like, oh my God, wait. You know, I feel like that's different than, like, a whole ass therapist. Not only a therapist, it's not even like he was just her or she was just his therapist, but a couples therapist. I'm scared. Okay, relevant comments. Hi, I'm a therapist. Please report her. Her behavior is ridiculously unethical, and who knows what else has she done, or if she even should be allowed to practice. Not the asshole times a million. Edit, I gotta say, I'm loving this veritable Greek chorus of therapists showing up to chant, report her, report her. OP, if you see this, please don't feel like you're obligated to report her. You do what you need to do to find peace and closure, all right? And then Devil's Advocate said, the normal rule is no dating patients within 12 months of the last encounter, correct? Not sure if that's illegal or just an in-house rule. And then Bill End said, even if the marriage/relationship was a year after, I bet OP's fella started banging this therapist after the first few meetings. Very unprofessional. If I were OP, I wouldn't hesitate to report them. Are there any professional bodies that can prevent her practicing, though? I don't know if that can be struck off like a surgeon or doctor who is guilty of malpractice. Okay, there are 2 small little updates that are in the same post, and they were made the following day. It says, update, wow, thank you everyone for your responses. I realize that as the ex, it is pretty much impossible for it to not seem like I'm jealous, petty, bitter, whatever you want to say. However, it is also impossible to have sat in those sessions and then see your therapist and ex get married and have zero feelings about it, regardless of having moved on. Please give me a break. I'm human. Anyway, I have made my decision. I am not going to participate in this post anymore, but I sincerely thank those of you that made meaningful contributions. Edit again. Update. So one of my friends has basically taken it upon herself to investigate this therapist. I swear she should be in the FBI, lol. She found out that this is the 3rd last name that this woman has practiced psychotherapy with. Under the first last name in 2014, she was charged with a DUI with property damage. She also comes up on health grades with 5 1-star reviews and an overall 3-star rating. Essentially, what this new information does for me is confirm that she has been a shitty human being with shitty morals for quite some time. There's no way this is the first time she has caused undue harm to a client. Therefore, I can say with certainty that I am reporting. Oh yeah, that just puts the nail in the coffin, because in no fucking way, if it was like a one-off, still I don't think that it's right at all, but having it be multiple people is crazy. It seems like at that point you're searching for it. You're literally going out and pursuing these people that are your patients, which is wild behavior. Wild. Okay, relevant comments. Not the asshole. Ordinarily, I'd suggest this is pretty petty. Happens in relationships that go south, blah, 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 blah. However, in this instance, there's a very good chance that someone that you went to for counseling took advantage of your vulnerabilities and used them to manipulate you for her own gain. So I'd say go for it and report that shit high and wide. That said, you know what kind of guy your ex is, and now she is stuck with him. So there's at least some justice in that. And then OP said, thank you. Yes, like I said, if he married anyone else, I literally would not care. Very happy to not be with him. My concern is her professional conduct. At the time, it was very rough for me to watch them flirt in those sessions and team up against me. Now I see that they are perfect for each other, but she should not be a therapist. No, she should not be a therapist. It's fucking wild. Final comment from OOP. Definitely a huge thank you to all the therapists showing up here to support me. And also thank you for adding the last bit. I just updated the post with the new information I have about her character. I'm definitely reporting. This woman should not be a therapist. I hope that she really did find true love for my ex and that it will be worth it for her. Really, I do. But she should not be trusted by another vulnerable person ever again. I would be devastated. That's like so devastating to find out that. I mean, just trying to be vulnerable. If I found out that, I don't even know if I found, well, first of all, that'd be crazy if my therapist married my boyfriend. But that's like giving Khloe Kardashian's therapist, selling her out to the paparazzi. You should not be allowed to ever even have a job after that. Like in general, you're a terrible person to be taking your profession that you see vulnerable people open up to you every day, and obviously they would assume, as the law says, patient therapist confidentiality, whatever the fuck it's called. Okay, that would obviously be implied, assumes. I don't know. My therapist told me in the beginning, this is just between us, unless this, or this. Like, obviously, if you're a threat to yourself or other people, they are responsible for reporting that. Okay, a top comment says, wow, I actually wondered for a moment when she said he did everything and she didn't sign any forms, etc., if she was even a therapist at all, lol. Imagine if he just set his affair partner up in an office. No, actually. Actually, wasn't there a story where a guy's girlfriend basically did that, but with a friend of hers to gaslight him about things / always win? No, that's crazy fucking work. Crazy work. What the hell? What the hell, son? We're going to move on to the next story. And the title is, my 40 female husband, 42 male, told me our daughter's friend, 18 female, tried it with him. I didn't react well. Sorry if you see me posting in other subs, it keeps getting removed. The last couple of weeks, my husband has been very quiet and not sleeping well. I've asked him a couple of times if he's okay, and he said yes, but I could tell something was bothering him. On Saturday, he said he needs to talk to me and burst into tears. I made us a cup of tea and sat down with him. He just blurted it out and said Ava, our daughter's friend, had been coming on to him and he doesn't know what to do. He said it started when he made a cake for her 18th birthday party. She messaged him saying she got his number from our daughter and thank you for the cake. She then sent a lot of photos of herself in the dress she wore for the party. He just replied saying it looked like a fun party. She then messaged asking if he could look at her car for her as it was making a funny noise. She came around and he looked at it and said it was the brakes. He told me this at the time, so he wasn't hiding anything. She came around when our daughter was home, but I wasn't, and she went inside while my husband was working on the car outside. When it was done, she came out alone and said she had no money on her, and he said that it's fine, just bring it around whenever or give it to our daughter. She then said she can pay another way, and in his words, quote, flashed me, and I said, I've got to go, and went inside, closing the door. I read through all the messages, and he never replied to any of them after this incident, and that afternoon she messaged him saying, quote, thanks for doing my car for me. You're cute when you're shy. She's messaged him hundreds of times since, asking if he's alone, asking for lifts, asking if he thinks she's pretty, and she's sent loads of pics from fully clothed to fully nude. My husband has said he doesn't know whether to reply, to talk to her parents, to talk to me. He said he's scared he's going to ruin our daughter's life if this comes out. I don't know why I suddenly exploded. I called him a pervert. I said he must have let her on. I said he must have paid her as he's far too ugly and too old for her. I called him disgusting and said, I want him out of the house. I said he's ruined our daughter's life and plenty of other awful things. I stormed out of the house, and when I came back an hour later, he was gone. Over the last couple of days, I've calmed down and realized that he's done nothing wrong, and I've reacted awfully. I've tried ringing and messaging him, but he's not responding. Why did I react like that, and how do I apologize to him? What do we do about these messages? Do we talk to her parents? Or do we talk to her? Definitely talk to her parents, for the love of God. I mean, you guys are parents yourself. I would just think of it if it were like the other way around, and I'm sure you would want their parents to talk to you about it. That's crazy. That reaction is crazy. That reaction is wild, actually. To be like fully blaming him and being like, you're ugly and old. That's so sad. Imagine like he's crying and he's already in a vulnerable position and he's like really upset about it, conflicted on what to do. He doesn't want to ruin his daughter's life. I'm sure he's in some way feels bad for this girl as well, because she's obviously not in a like good mental state to be doing that either, to be sending hundreds of pictures with no responses and unsolicited nudes is crazy. Unsolicited nudes is crazy. Not that long. I think it was like last year or 2 years ago or something. This guy that I went to college with, it was like I went to college from 2016 to 2020, okay? Graduated in 2020. Tell me why this man I hadn't spoken to since probably 2019 that I went to college with, that I was slightly friends with, like we had mutual friends, and that's the only way that we ever talked, but like we weren't anything close. He sent me a video like 2 years ago. So what, 4 years after I had never spoken to him, like I hadn't spoken to him in 4 years. And out of the blue, randomly, he sends me a video of his peenie. of his teeny weeny peenie. I was shocked. I opened that and I was like, whoa. I was so scared. I think I immediately blocked him after that. And then I think he like ended up, did I block him? I can't remember, but I know I left that motherfucker on red. That's for sure. But I think he might have messaged me somewhere. Maybe it was like, it might have been on DM or maybe it was on Snapchat. I don't know. And he was like, oh, sorry, someone hacked my Snapchat. Someone hacked your Snapchat? I mean, I guess. Maybe it was. But, like, I have a feeling maybe he was just drunk and he, like, sent me that. Because, honestly, like, I could see him doing that. But weird. Unsolicited nudes. Not okay. Doesn't feel good. I mean, period. I personally never wanted a penis pic from anyone before. Even if I was romantically, sexually interested in them. Sorry to say it. Edit. It's 5 a.m. here in the UK now, and I'm going to drive to his brother's house now where he's staying, as I know he leaves for work at about 6, and I'm going to try to talk to him face to face. I've got flowers, chocolates, and I'm wearing his favorite outfit. I'll let you all know what happens. Oh, God. Okay. I'm kind of scared. Like, okay. Update 2 days later. And this is July 3rd. Oh my God, I didn't realize how recent this was. So I went around to my husband's brother's yesterday morning at 5:30 a.m. to wait for him to leave for work so I could talk to him. I wore his favorite dress of mine and took him chocolates, flowers, and a letter I'd wrote for him. The talk went how a lot of you wanted it to go. He told me he'd spoken to a lawyer and he wanted a divorce. He said he can't get past what I said, and as soon as he laid eyes on me, felt nothing but anxiety and a need to run. He said he'll never get over what I said and how I acted, and that's that. I know I deserve this, but I'm still incredibly heartbroken. Last night, he also met up with our daughter and told her everything, and she is also not talking to me and said she's going to live with her dad when this is over. She also said her friend has been saying for years that she fancies my husband, but thought it was just stupid talk and she wouldn't actually do anything. She's still friends with Ava, but told her she will fall out with her if she does anything else. My husband had also spoken to the girl's parents, who didn't really seem to give a shit. They said she's 18 and she can do what she wants, and they're sorry she's tried to get a married man, but they can't ban her from talking to people, and she'll be going to uni in September, so they don't want to cause any unrest before she goes. My husband said he felt a lot more relaxed once he'd spoken to them and our daughter, so hopefully he can sleep now. Yikes. I get it because she's 18, so I don't really know what there is to do other than like the best thing that I think I would do, especially if she's like still, I mean, she's obviously always going to be your child, but she's living under your roof. I would say you could have a conversation with her. Like, I would still want to have a conversation with her, be like, hey, this isn't right because you're not getting any reciprocating energy from this person. So like at this point, it's sexual harassment. I mean, that's sexual harassment. I don't see it any other way. You can't just bombard someone with nudes and like sexual messages. And not to mention, what? Didn't she flash him? Hello? That is sexual harassment. Okay, there's a new update 8 days later, July 11th, 2025. This update is posted at 3 a.m. I just wanted to start this by saying I don't care if anyone believes me or not. I'm not sharing screenshots or Ava's socials, as so many men have asked. All the names are fake, obviously. Last night, my daughter came to me and said she needed to talk. She told me that a friend had been in touch and told her that a couple of weeks ago, this would have been the day of the flashing incident, on a night out, Ava left early and said she was getting a lift home with a friend. The friend of my daughter's left the pub 5 minutes later with her boyfriend and saw Ava getting into my husband's car. Her and Ava made eye contact, and Ava begged the friend not to say anything, but she came forward to my daughter after hearing what had happened. My daughter messaged Ava, who came to see her, and admitted it pretty instantly. She said she did come on to my husband first when he was fixing her car, but he responded shyly but positively to the come on, and he asked her to flash, which she did. She mentioned she was out that night, and he said he was going out with his brother, but he would leave early to come and pick her up. She said it was her idea to keep messaging him on WhatsApp, like it was her coming on to him and him not responding. So if they ever got caught, it would cover him as he would get in more trouble than her, but they'd actually communicated through Telegram. This doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. My daughter went to see her dad and went through his phone while he was in the shower and found the picture of Ava in his gallery, which isn't a problem now, I guess, and also found the Telegram app, but said she couldn't bring herself to read the messages, which I get. As my daughter told me this, I remember the night he went out with his brother. He got in really late and the next day said he'd been a designated driver and he had to give everyone lifts home. I felt sick. I'm blocked on his phone and all his socials, so I messaged his brother and told him to ask my husband to send me the Ring doorbell footage of the flash incident. Apparently it's gone as he panicked and deleted it, and it's been too long now anyway. Yesterday morning, my daughter asked Ava if she would come around and see me, and she agreed. She came around about 9:30 and started crying instantly and said she was sorry. I said it's okay. What's done is done, but I need answers. She told me pretty much what my daughter had told me, but also said about 6 months ago she was around ours and went outside for a smoke and my husband was already there. They got to talking and Ava got upset, saying she thought her parents were going to split up, and my husband consoled her and then said, quote, "Sometimes when kids get older, parents realize they don't have much in common. Don't tell Kelly, our daughter, but me and Sasha are in the process of splitting up." This was the first I had heard of this. This is why she said she acted on her crush that she had had for years. I won't go into details of the night he picked her up, but they did stuff that night. And she said on one more occasion since in our garage where he let her in the back garden gate to avoid the Ring doorbell. She didn't tell him about the friends seeing them until a couple of days later after the pickup, and that tallies up with when he started acting weird. But even during the weird stage, he still snuck her into the garage for a BJ. Ava then showed me all the Telegram messages. Again, I won't go into details, but he messaged her a couple of times and said, quote, "You haven't chased my WhatsApp today. You'd best message me on there to keep it up." And was also begging for photos constantly. He came clean to me because the day before, this friend who saw them both together told Ava she needed to talk to her about what she had saw. My husband obviously panicked once Ava told him this. To clarify all of this, I asked Ava if she could tell me something about my husband that no one would know unless they saw him naked. She knew what I meant and instantly said, "He's only got one ball." She couldn't have gotten this info from anywhere else. Ava sent me loads of screenshots of all their conversations. I then sent a screenshot to my brother-in-law and told him to tell my husband I have the whole conversation and I know everything. I feel so stupid now. In my first post and my second one, I was defending him in the comments. Anyone who said his story sounds fishy got downvoted, and I joined in with the downvotes and the rebuttals. Turns out they were right. I'm sorry to anyone I argued with who tried to tell me that he was lying. Someone messaged me as well and said the reason I said what I said is because my gut was telling me something wasn't right, and that's why it was out of my character for me, as I've never spoken about him like that. I told that person they were wrong, and it was my insecurities that made me say that, and then I blocked that person. I'm sorry. I was intimate with him or gave him a BJ nearly every day, but it still wasn't enough. I did every kink he asked of me. I never said no to anything. I even told him I'd like to have a threesome with him and another woman or watch him with other women. Why wouldn't he do that for me, but he would cheat on me? I did everything he asked of me, and he still cheated. I'll admit, I've cheated before. I've kissed 2 other men and let another run his hands over my clothed body while I danced at a concert. He wasn't bothered about the kissing. He says that's not real cheating, but he didn't like the dancing one, which I understand. I'm trying to balance this out. I haven't heard from my husband or his brother. My daughter is here asleep now, and I booked me and her on a last-minute trip to the Cotswolds this weekend at a spa to get us both away from this mess. Okay, whoa. So many details that just randomly came out at last minute. I was feeling bad for her, and I still do feel bad for her because obviously he did something bad, but you also did something bad. You cheated on him, so I'm just confused. I'm thinking maybe the relationship should have probably come to an end a while ago and it just didn't. And that's not to say what he did wasn't wrong. You know, I'm never sticking up for a man. I'm sorry, but someone said, "What in the disjointed logic failure?" And then someone responded, "Only reason I could think of is that she's cheated and projecting." After this final update, I'm convinced this is a fetish post. No tea, honestly. Usually I'm not going to like agree about them being fake or whatever, but this is just weirdly weird. Whimsical editor said, "Honestly, this last update feels like an attempt to spin the story back in her favor after she got absolutely torn a new one in the first two. Right? I find it interesting she keeps bringing up how she wants to be with other people and seeing the husband with other people, but he was never down and now all of a sudden he's a massive cheater behind her back. She didn't take accountability in any of her posts, and now after the divorce is coming, all of a sudden there's a massive twist that absolves her of all blame." Implicit said, 100%. She got to spin it around and now she's the victim after getting called out by 10,000 people that she's an asshole. I mean, I fear they just needed to have an open relationship or just not be together at all. That was a whirlwind, honestly. That was a roller coaster of emotions, to be so fair. We're going to move on to the next story. And the title is, "I, 24 female, just broke off my engagement with fiance, 26 male, because he told me he wasn't ready when proposing. We're going to therapy, but I feel like I gave up already. Help." Kind of long story, but I really need advice on this. Hi, so I, 24 female, and my fiance, 26 male, have been together for 6 years, living together for 2 years, and engaged for 1 year and 2 months. We've been a really cool couple, same sense of humor, we have common interests, we enjoy the same things. We're basically one person at this point. I thought we had great communication. Turns out I was wrong. The one thing is, I feel like his mother. He takes no initiative. He doesn't initiate physical contact, not even mentioning sex here, but it's a bigger problem. No initiative makes me feel really unattractive. He won't ask me out for dates. He won't hug me or cuddle with me until I ask. So I do it all. I arrange dates. I try to get closer to communicate more. I decide what we do and where we go out, etc. Basically, he comes home from work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, takes out his laptop and just does whatever, probably just plays games, and then we fold laundry while watching a TV show and go to sleep. Pretty much just like living flatmates, or like a very old married couple. I tried to talk to him about it, but he'd always say he would try to do better, and he would for 2 to 3 months, but then things would go back to what it was. Here is what broke me. On Monday, I started the conversation again. Tried to get him to act and get us couples counseling. Well, we started talking about how he never mentioned getting married since the proposal. I've started looking for wedding venues. I drove us to one and suggested we book it. He said he would rather see more before making a decision. I asked him to look for something, and we can go check it out. He admitted now that he didn't even Google that since September. And he basically told me he proposed because he, quote, felt like I expected/wanted it, while he wasn't 100% ready. I took the ring off, saying it feels like a lie because it meant something different to him than it did to me. And he took it, said, quote, "I promise you, I'll give it to you when I'm ready." So he wasn't ready 14 months ago. During those months, nothing changed, and he still isn't ready to be engaged. I've loved this man for 6 years, but now it turns out he proposed because he had to. Still had doubts and let me look for wedding stuff, create Pinterest boards, make guest lists while knowing it's all built on a lie. It feels like I proposed to myself while he just stood by and watched. We have couples therapy today, just like he booked it on Monday, but now I have no idea what to do. I agreed because I wanted us to work out the initiative thing, but that was before I found out he didn't really want to be engaged. I'm going there today and I feel like I'm lying to him because I don't think I can continue this relationship after what he did. He's trying hard to take initiative again and be closer to me, but it feels like it's too late. How can I handle this? I'm giving him hope with this therapy while considering to break things off because of the engagement thing. Can I forgive this and move on? For me, I would say no. Like, immediately after someone says like, "Oh, I did that, but I didn't mean it," especially when it's something so huge like that, it's an immediate no for me. Like, one of my exes told me, and this is so long ago, but I told you guys, one of my, like, this still is, I mean, it doesn't hurt, but like at the time it really hurt me because I was a virgin and my ex was like, told me that he loved me, even though I told him I wasn't going to have sex till marriage. Okay. Clearly that did not work out, but he told me he loved me and then was like, okay, now can we like sleep together? Which it wasn't like that, but pretty much. And then I lost my virginity to him. And then 2 days later, he's like, actually, I wasn't ready to tell you that. And I actually didn't mean it. Like, that's fucked up. Obviously, that's a different situation, but that's fucked up to do something so serious and then be like, actually, I wasn't ready for that. Well, you're the one who did it. So why are you taking it back now? Now I'm never going to be able to trust anything that you say. I'm never going to be able to take your word for anything. So at that point, once the trust is broken and once I feel like now nothing has any meaning from that point moving forward, nothing you say to me holds any weight anymore because you proposed because you felt like you had to, but you weren't ready. Are you kidding me? That just ruins the whole entire meaningful sentiment of being proposed to. And I don't want that. I don't want that, man. I would say just, it's time to end the relationship. It's coming to a close. There's an update 18 days later. I figured I would post an update to this. I read many comments and they really helped me. Thank you for sharing your experiences. That opened my eyes. So yeah, TLDR, he wasn't ready when proposing. He won't admit it, but I'm pretty sure it was a shut up ring. Which is sad because I never really cared about marriage in the first place. Now we went to therapy. I said the same things as I've written in the previous post. He struggled to answer any questions. Didn't really say anything that he hadn't before. The therapist suggested we could try living separately, but I think she could tell we were going to break up soon. LOL. I took a few days to think, but finally broke up with him about a week after writing the first post. And it kind of broke me to see his reaction. At first, he was really dramatic, constantly tried to make himself the victim. Something about us being a ship that's sinking. I'm about to jump and give up, but he's still holding on tightly. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Accused me of not giving him the chance now that he actually wants to do something and change. I had to remind him a few times that he's the one who broke my heart first. He lied for months and took the ring back. Then more dramatics, crying, etc. But the next day, everything was normal. He was behaving like nothing happened. No more fighting for this relationship or even being hurt. He said, quote, "We're going to be good friends," and acted like nothing's happened. Over the next few days, I would occasionally get comments like, quote, "If anyone asks what happened, I can't say we broke up. I have to say you broke my heart and left me. Or at least you stopped pretending to love me." Other than that, no crying, no arguments. He was acting as per usual. It just broke my heart, again, to see how he didn't even try, that he really didn't care much. Shouldn't really be surprising, but here we are. I asked him 3 times to move out. Gave him a deadline of 2 weeks, so 3 weeks since he took the ring back. He acted hurt, said, "Wow, I didn't expect you'd want to get rid of me so soon," but didn't really start looking. You know what actually made him get a flat and leave? My parents telling him to F off because he lived here in their home this whole time without paying any bills, and they took him in like a son. They told him to pack his shit and never come back. Since then, he's been acting offended that they treated him like that, and he had to leave. He moved out yesterday. I helped him with moving. I'm on my own now, after 6.5 years with that one man. New year, new me, I guess. But yeah, thanks to everyone who commented and read my story. Not gonna lie, I would love some encouragement. It feels like a part has been ripped from me. I need to know this feeling will go away. P.S. He found the first post and read the comments. He wanted to post his own comment to show his side of things. Thankfully, gave up. LOL. Ooh, I mean, that just sounds like the typical like ring around the rosy relationship where it's really a common thing. I feel like it's just so common to be like, oh, well, I want to try now. You've had 6.5 years to try. Don't fall for that, guys. Please. It's the worst feeling in the world to get back together with someone and have them try for me personally, it was like 2 fucking days, and then it was like back to regular behavior again, and then it's like over and over and over and over again. It's the worst feeling. It's like, why didn't I just stick with the breakup? Because every time I would be feeling so strong and I'd be like, I'm good. We're broken up. I don't need that. I don't need a man. I'm good. Goodbye. I'm not gonna like, and then I would take him back, and then it'd be like, I'm weak in the damn knees again. And it's like, no, why didn't you were so strong and you were feeling so good and so confident about the breakup. Then you get back together with him, and then it's like you're starting from square fucking one, and it's a terrible feeling. I hate that. I hate it. Okay, the top comment says, I think it's safe to say that if you feel like his mother, maybe more than one thing is wrong there. And then Superground96 said, standard Reddit, quote, my relationship is perfect except for this one tiny thing, which turns out to be their entire personality and outlook on life. Fictional trope. We're a cool couple. Basically one person at this point. Cloudy Ammonia said, the sheer effing audacity of this guy to say, I'm going to have to tell people you broke my heart and left me. Last week, he didn't even want to be engaged. F off. And then Night Tarot responded to that and said, doesn't want to commit, refuses to put any effort in the relationship, and also wants to lie after the fact to protect himself because he knew people would shame him for his behavior. All around selfish prick. I'm not surprised he doesn't even have the decency to tell the truth. I'm not even surprised either. It's really interesting to me that they're living with his parents. Like, I honestly feel like, I don't know, I feel like you shouldn't really be engaged if you can't afford to live on your own. Like, I feel like an engagement is just, I don't know. For me personally, it's for grown-ups, and I'm not a grown-up yet. So, like, I'm not in the place to get engaged yet because I'm not fully, like, where I want to be. And I'm getting my life together, which is great. I'm figuring things out. I'm getting a car. Like, I have been living alone for so long and being able to afford rent for so long. But obviously it takes longer for everyone. But I just feel like, why are you going to get engaged if you're not, and then get married and stuff? Like, I don't know. That's a lot while you're living with your parents. I feel like first you need to, like, work on moving out, and then you guys can live together outside of your parents' house, and then you can figure out how that, like, navigate that part of your relationship, because that's a whole other part of your relationship, figuring out if you guys can live together by yourselves, and then getting engaged. I don't know. Obviously there's no perfect timeline, there's no perfect steps in a relationship, but I would say probably don't get engaged until you're ready. Like, that just, you're not ready. But that is all of the stories that I have for the day. I'm just going to chat with you guys a little bit for the end of this episode. So if you're not here for the chitter chatters, then you can exit out now, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. But I have been sick all weekend. I don't know if you can tell. I feel like I'm like a little bit sinusy. I'm getting better today. Today's probably the best day, but, like, I do have a dry cough that I keep, like, I hate having a cough. It's terrible. It's like I feel like it's in my respiratory, and it's terrible. But I had a really bad fever on Friday. Not really bad. It was like 101.7, but it felt really fucking bad. It felt so bad. I haven't had a fever in so long, guys. I forgot how awful it was to have a fever. I was like, wow, I really take for granted being healthy every single day, because this is a terrible feeling. And then I was like in and out of sleep for a while, and then I finally went to bed. But actually, it's so funny because I did take a nap from like 7 to 9. And then my boyfriend was like, okay, it's time to go to bed when I was like waking up from my nap. And I was like, wait, I can't go to bed yet. I have to vote tonight. I have to vote Amaya Papaya. Guys, I voted Amaya Papaya for every fucking vote, okay? Since the very beginning, since we had to vote favorite girl and favorite boy, I was pissed that she was in the bottom three for that first vote because I voted for her and I was like, hello? I love her. And why isn't anyone else doing that? I was so mad that she was in the bottom three, but I'm so glad she got to stay so that a lot more people could love. And it's crazy to see people hating on her on TikTok. Like, obviously she has a lot of love, but I still see hate sometimes. And that just shows, like, even though I find her to be like a perfect specimen, not talking about her looks, obviously she's beautiful, but I think she's so genuine and just like herself and so funny and so just everything. I love her so much. And you can be all that and still have haters. Haters gonna hate, but those people are probably just like sitting in their mom's basement like a bunch of incels and just like hiding behind their phone screen, you know? So whatever. But it's just really, really, really crazy to think about. But yeah, so I was in and out of sleep from like 9 to 10:30. I was so pissed. I didn't realize it was 10:30 that night to vote for the finale. And then I woke up at like 10:22. I was like, ugh. And then I fell back asleep till 10:28. And then I was like, okay, I'll get on my phone and just like wait. And then I voted and fucking knocked the hell out. And then I slept for over 12 hours because I took Advil PM. My fever went away for a little bit because of the Advil. And then it came back on Saturday. So I had a fever on Saturday. Then yesterday I just had like my cough and my sinuses. And today I'm getting better. I'm assuming this is probably going to last throughout the week. I've been waking up and eating like 3 cloves of pickled garlic and a spoonful of honey and then gargling salt water because I'm like trying to get better. I'm trying to be like a wellness person or something. I don't know. I'm just so sick of being sick. Like, I hate being sick. And on Friday, I wanted to get all these episodes recorded because I was going to start a new schedule of recording on Fridays and Mondays instead of Mondays and Tuesdays. And then I couldn't because I was dying. And I was like, boo, you whore. That's how I felt. I was just dead. So nothing really happened this weekend other than me literally sitting my ass on the couch, being the laziest person of all time because I was sicker than a damn dog. And it rained all weekend, which was like honestly so perfect for the mood because then it was like it's not like I can be at the beach, so I'm not missing out on anything because it's literally pouring. And I just love a good rainy day. It's still raining right now. It's like a rainy day today, but that's usually how it is in the summertime. Summertime. I don't know what more to say because nothing's really going on in my life. I feel like I have other stuff to say, but I can't remember. All I fucking do is I live on the couch watching shows. Truly, it's kind of embarrassing. But last night when Amaya won, actually, the finale, Jack was like, you've been working all season for this, babe. And I was like, T, you got that right, boy. He's been watching all season with me, too. So he's fully as invested as I am. He just didn't vote, which crazy, but he loves Amaya Papaya as much as I do. And he gets it. And that's how you know that you found a keeper. When they love Amaya Papaya as much as you do, and they can appreciate the weirdness and the like just pure genuine behavior from her, that's when you know. Loved it, clocked it, standing on business. And Justin Bieber's new album came out. Clocked it. I don't get the hate about his album. It's good. What do you mean? Oh, well, that just shows me that you didn't have a fucking Justin Bieber doll, Justin Bieber toothbrush, Justin Bieber posters all over your room, Justin Bieber backpack, Justin Bieber 25 t-shirts with his face plastered all over it. That shows me that you weren't that girl. You weren't that girl because that was me. I literally was looking back at pictures on Facebook and I was honestly scared. Like, no wonder my dad used to yell at me because I was so obsessed with Justin Bieber. He'd be like, knock it off. Because I would be like, I want this, I would ask for Christmas. Anything Justin Bieber. Like, get me this Justin Bieber doll, toothbrush, anything. Like, I'd be like, can you buy me a locket of his hair if that were a thing? And it, honestly, yeah, it did get to a point. It was a little bit creepy, but my dad was like, now I understand looking back why he was like, knock it off. Why, like, you got to stop, because I was being a little bit crazy about it. I'm a believer till I die. Okay. Bieber fever. Maybe that's what I was coming down with on Friday. Bieber fever. Because they tell me sky's the limit. No, the sky's the point of view. The one that argue with him and need to be there to be bothered with. But the grass ain't always green on the other side. It's green where you water it, but I know we got issues, baby. True. But I'd rather... Guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm like, at the end of these episodes, I'm like, what more can I do to like be crazy? Or am I being one of those girls that it's like, oh my God, she's such a crackhead, you know? When it's like, my friends are so, or it's like, what are those TikToks where it's like, wow, you're so crazy, and it's just like you're dancing funny or like sticking out your tongue, and it's like my emergency contact. I feel like sometimes I think that I'm being crazier and quirkier than I really am. And it just is me being like one of those people, like one of those embarrassing little pick-me's. And it's like, girl, you're not that quirky. You're not that quirky, girl. Calm down. Anyways, talk to you in the next episode. If you haven't already, press the subscribe button or the follow button. Also, please leave me a review. 5 stars, please. If you have anything else to say, don't leave it, please, because I'm just a girl out here, okay? I'm just a girl. I'm trying to make it out here, okay? Please don't leave me a 1-star review. Like, I'm really sad about that. If you do that, if you leave me any less than 5, what is the point in even leaving me a review, guys? Like, please, don't be mean. What have I done to you? I feel like I haven't done anything to you. And for you to leave me a 1-star, I'm not saying I get a lot of them, but my rating on Spotify is like 4.4, and it keeps going from 4.4 to 4.5 and then back to 4.4. And I'm like, hello, I thought I was blocking out my haters, and still my haters be right underneath my nose. The whole time my haters be my biggest fans. But then behind my back, they be rating me like, what, 3 stars to make my rating go down? Please, don't do that. Okay. Anyways, love you. Yeah. Subscribe. Or maybe don't. Honestly, you probably don't want to after this. But I love you, okay? And leave a comment down below. Your thoughts, comments, concerns, and deepest, darkest secrets. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. See you later. Bye.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.